Hello and welcome to my first ever video of the chopping block where I take movies, games, or TV shows, new or old, doesn't matter, and I review them and I give my honest 2 cents about it and just see what rolls. And this first episode, since I don't show my face, it's hard to like it's hard to do this with a movie. So for this instance, the first one is Beetlejuice. Two, sorry. Um, so what I'm doing is I just have the trailer playing in the background on loop because I don't show my face. So yeah, this is I just got back from the movie theaters and well, obviously I watched Beetlejuice too. In this movie, it's compared to the first one, it's not going to be as good. The first one's a fantastic movie, and people know that when you wait 40 years, you want basically 40 years, you want an absolute banger to drop. And I mean, this movie, for what it had to live up to, did a fantastic job at it. And I have a bunch of keynote details that I want to talk about. There's some good, there's some bad. So it's not a perfect movie. You're not going to go into this movie expecting this to be the most perfect sequel of all time. Nothing ever in the world has came close to being as good as this. But yeah, so my first point is I'm going to start off on a strong note and say that this movie was great fun. You are going to laugh in this movie. You're going to have a fun time watching this movie. Is it going to be the best movie you've ever seen in your life? No, not by any means. Is it going to be a movie that you'll want to see once or twice again? Maybe. Yeah, I think so. Is it a movie I'd recommend watching? Probably. It's pretty freaking funny. It's pretty good. There's still like it's a good movie. It's not a perfect movie. It's not an absolutely fantastic shebanger 1 out of 10. One being the highest, obviously. This is just a great. It's for the sequel, for what it had to live up to. The sequel it set was a great sequel, and it was really funny. It was pretty good. There were some jokes that just you got the whole theater laughing. I mean, like they got the whole squad laughing in that one. But there was other ones where it was just like, all right, that's a little chuckle. It's nice. It's not bad. It's not perfect by any means. I already said that. It's a good movie is the best way to describe it. But with some positives, I want to point out the best character in cinema history. Obviously, I'm lying a little bit, but Bob, my boy Bob, has to be one of the best characters ever. And I'll pull it up here in a second. Let me just get that now. So this guy right here, this is my luscious, just absolutely beautiful guy, Bob. And it's I mean, he's there when you need him. He is just a great character. It really is, honestly. All jokes aside, he's such a funny character. It's really stupid. It's amazing though. The ending of the movie, you'll see a part that's really funny. Also, I want to say before going into this, there's not going to be any spoilers, and if there seems like there's going to be a massive spoiler, then just I'll give like a massive warning. But obviously, if you're watching a review, you're going to expect to hear a little bit about the game. So there's going to be tiny spoilers, probably, but nothing too major. I'm going to try to hope that I don't. But just here's your warning now. If you want to go into this for just your me out, just raw, then you're just going to click off this video now and you're just going to want to chill out, relax, and watch the movie at a later date and then come back and watch the video. Probably don't do come back and watch the video, but you get the point. But yeah, this is my boy Bob. I'm gonna go back to my other reasons now. So one of my other reasons is the music in this movie. The music in this movie is well, it's just like the first one. There's obviously some songs that are just straight from the first one, but there's some very new ones. And I mean, the when you hear those, you get like, oh my god, dude, you just get an insta boner. You got straight boner jams in here. It's the nice jazz to it. You got that French horn going, you got the trombone going, you got all that stuff going, and it hits the mark. It really fits with the movie very well. What's his name? Danny Elfman. He is a fantastic music writer. I don't know what they're called, composer, whatever. But he's not a composer. I don't know if I can know. I don't know. Danny Elfman's a really talented guy. Is what I'm trying to hint here. He's fantastic at making good music, and he shines in this movie. I think he did it for this movie. I'm just gonna assume he did. But yeah, I really like Danny Elfman. He did a fantastic job with this movie. All of the music were just insta bangers. So with that being said, the next best thing about this movie is obviously Beetlejuice. If you're going into a Beetlejuice movie, you're expecting Beetlejuice. And with Beetlejuice 1, he had like 20 minutes of screen time. Like he wasn't in the movie as much as you would think that he would be in the movie. But when he's in this movie, he's in it a lot and he shines. Every time he's on screen, you're like, oh yeah, this is Michael Keaton. Well, okay, wait a minute. This is Beetlejuice. Michael Keaton is putting in his A1, just pure 100% all their effort. And Michael Keaton does the best job that he could have ever have done with Beetlejuice. It is truly a remarkable performance, and you really feel the character. You feel like that character is how Beetlejuice should be. Michael Keaton plays him so insanely well, and every time he's on screen, you just start to smile. You start chuckling. You're looking at him, and you're like, that's my man Beetlejuice. I can't wait to see what he does next. When he goes away, you're still interested in the movie. It's not like the movie is fully carried on his back. There are definitely some sections where it's just like, all right, this is Beetlejuice. Like he's the man right now. Like this is my God. He's great. Just at the end of the story, Michael Keaton does a fantastic A+ job at playing Beetlejuice. He could not have done it any better. He did it great in 1988. He did it great in 2024. Michael Keaton is just a fantastic actor, and he really brings Beetlejuice to life in this movie, which is leading into my other thing. But truly, this movie is actually just funny. Like there's great jokes. There's some pretty freaking hilarious moments that aren't even like a punchline joke. Where there's a baby is all how I'll say it, and that baby is just it's just hilarious. When he says "mama," you're just like, damn, that is pretty funny. But stuff like that. There's so many little details and so much other stuff that is just so it's so well put together. There's a lot of moments that you really feel like, okay, this is just great. You get a little chuckle out of it. That doesn't mean there's no serious moments. There's still some serious moments. Like there's like heart touching moments between Lydia and I don't even remember Jenna Ortega's character's name. That's sad. Jesus Christ. It's some weird ass name. I don't remember. But which is that's probably a negative if I don't remember her name. She literally like Lydia literally screams her name. Well, Winona Ryder screams her name so much. So I don't know, but yeah, obviously Lydia's back with this. And Winona Ryder does. Everyone in this movie acts fantastic. People were scared with Jenna Ortega being in the movie that, well, it's Jenna Ortega. But she does a fantastic job. Willem Dafoe, which you just saw right there. Willem Dafoe's just a great actor. You might get tired of seeing him in every movie, but he does a fantastic job. Danny DeVito does good. Bob. Michael Keaton, obviously great. Everyone you could see in this movie does their role perfectly. They couldn't have done it better. There was literally everything good about it. A lot of movies nowadays are just sequels, and they're hammering in on sequels, and there's not much originality lately. Obviously, there's plenty of original stuff being made. But I'm just saying there's been more sequels, and with this being a sequel, people were scared it's not going to live up to the hype of the first one. It's never ever going to be that good, and it's obviously never going to be as good as the first one. You can't touch that same ground. This one's not going to hit the same ground, hit the same level that one did. But it did a damn good. They probably did as good as they could. This is definitely, if you really like the first movie, you watch this movie. If you didn't like the first movie, don't watch this movie. Or unless you're a weirdo and don't like the first one and like this one, I don't know. It's you got different opinions. This is just my opinion on it. But I think if you enjoy the first movie, you're going to enjoy this movie a lot. If you didn't, you're not. It's great. They did the best with the material that they had. They did the best with it, which is fantastic job. And then with some of the old animations of the sandworm, obviously it's in here. You can see it in the posters, everything. You know it's in here. It's not a spoiler. They kept the same animation style as that, and that was great. And some of the animations they did were fantastic. And then on the other hand, the practical effects were all fantastic. Every practical effect they did, you notice it and you're like, wow, that looks great. You look at Willem Dafoe's head and you'll be like, man, okay, that's a little wacky, but it's supposed to be. It's Beetlejuice. It's not going to be the most serious movie you've ever seen in your life. And the practical effects for what they were, like you saw a little Bob right there, they were fantastic. They were great practical effects. Everything about it looked fantastic. That was another animation of that plane. That animation section is it's great. It's unique. Everything they have in here just looks fantastic, which goes on to the next one of all of those practical effects leading into the exploring the area of the dead people more. Where in the first movie, obviously they touched on it. It was a main part of the first movie. They didn't just touch on it. It literally was a main part. In this movie, they took the dead area and completely expanded it. They just kept it going and going and going. And I think that's fantastic because that area is obviously one of the most unique areas. You get to see the little wacky ways people have died, like people getting bit by sharks, people getting shoved into a box. It's just the most random stuff. Like from the first movie, the charred black smoker. So there's just a bunch of different ways you see that just random people died, and it's funny. It's nice to look at. You look at it and you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. And they all look really good. There's not really one that looks terrible. Um, Not only with that, the actually just expanding onto the area, you get more of a feel of this dead area. You have the immigration section now. You have the soul train, as the guy likes to call it, and it makes the dead area feel more alive, if that makes sense. There's more expansion onto it, and it feels nice. It's good to watch it and be like, oh wow, this is cool. They're expanding on this area. And then with that, there's also some negatives to come with that. But also with that dead area, they obviously have to introduce more stuff with it. Obviously, with the immigration section, I think they did that perfectly fine. Everything they had in there was just fine. But they added new characters that you're actually gonna like interact with and stuff, and you're gonna and you're gonna like see. But like for example, this is gonna be a little spoiler-ish, I guess. There's a character that is Beetlejuice's ex-wife, and she is a really cool character. The actress is great. Every scene she's in, it's cool. I mean, she's a cool character. But there's a lot of stuff she did that wasn't really necessary or important. Or when they showed this stuff, it wasn't important at all. It was just her going around and killing a guy at a laundromat. Like she didn't need to do that. She can just find Beetlejuice pretty easily because she did. And then even when this is gonna be a spoilerish, even when she finds Beetlejuice in her last scene, she doesn't do anything. She just gets instantly told no, basically, and sucked up. I'll leave it at that. But with the power that she had and the ability that only she, there she is, that only that she had, she didn't even get to really do anything or use it much. Like if there was like a fight, a big bad fight between her and some other characters, that would have been fantastic. Obviously, probably wouldn't fit as much in the Beetlejuice universe, but I mean, Tim Burton could have done that pretty damn well, obviously. A great character, but not much of a point in the end. She didn't really affect much. She kind of it just felt like another motive. It just a moving part of why stuff had to be done. And which I guess it's good. She's a character you're gonna remember, which is good. She looks cool. She's played well. Just I don't know. There just wasn't much of a point in some of the stuff she did at all. Her whole motive is that Beetlejuice is her lover, and his soul should have been hers. I mean, that's a fine motive to have, and there's no problem with that. I don't know. Just some of the things she did just weren't necessary. And her ending was just lackluster. It just, I don't know. It wasn't the best for her. With this movie, there's also Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe his character is a cop, but not really a cop. He's more of just like an actor. He's an actor cop. He is an actor. That's his whole character. And he's acting. He's done like 4 or so movies. I don't remember what he said. Acting as a cop. And even in Afterlife, he's still acting like that cop. He's doing investigations and stuff. And his character is, it's Willem Dafoe. I mean, he plays him great. He's funny. When you see him on screen, you're like, oh, it's that guy. But he doesn't do anything. He doesn't do anything at all. His investigations don't really lead anywhere. There's no point of them. And then in the end, I'll spoilers this again. He's in the ending. He's literally shows up for a minute and just gets stopped instantly, and it's like, okay, that's cool. So this character just doesn't do anything. All right, that's real nice and cool. I don't know. They could have done more with him. It's a fun character though. In the end, he's still a fun character. Just like the woman, not much of a necessary a need. There's not much of a need for him. It's still funny though. It's like Danny DeVito's character in the beginning. There was more of a need to him because he set free the woman and he was just there. He introduced the new guy that fell down that sewer pipe or whatever it was. He introduced him into the dead area. Like and he didn't have as much background. He was more just of a nonsense guy who was there and then gone. With these characters, you were introduced to him. You kept seeing him over and over, but they didn't really do much in the end. It was, I don't know. That's just how I see it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. Willem Dafoe still, both of those people played their characters amazing. The woman and Willem Dafoe played amazing. You see him on screen, you're like, okay, they're pretty cool. The woman's badass. Willem Dafoe's an acting badass. Um, and he's a fun character, very fun. And his whole squadron of like little guys. But with that, I think the whole story as a whole is more complicated in this one. It gets more in depth. There's just more of a story. There's more of a plot. There's everything is adding up more in this one. Whereas in the first one, it was like a straight shot. You were just getting it raw as it goes. With this movie, there's a little bit of speed bumps, and you're slipping in and out on this one. That's not necessarily bad. The people who really like Beetlejuice 1 probably like it so much because it's such a simple, straightforward, just wacky movie. With this game, it's still a really wacky movie, which is good, but it adds a little bit more of complicatedness to it, which for me, I did like how the different characters had their actual, like, there was multiple different things happening at the same time, multiple different people doing multiple different things, but I can see why people didn't like that. They liked it more just simple, laid out for them. Not to be calling anyone dumb or anything. I don't know. For me, the complicatedness kind of added to it. It gave it a little more flavor. I just wish they did more with it, with the women, with the woman, with Willem Dafoe, with some other people like that. I just wish they expanded on them more, gave them more of a purpose. Because with Beetlejuice, he gives a whole exposition dump of why this woman hates him, what happened with this woman, like all that stuff, what he originally became, like why he is and stuff, gave more of a point to that, which is good. It's great to show some more story stuff, and I think they did it perfectly fine. Michael Keaton did it in such a funny way. It's it's just great. So I think all that stuff is good. They could have just expanded on the woman and Willem Dafoe and characters like that more. Just really bring them out, bring their story more, include them more in the ending, because in the ending they were just kind of there and then gone, and that was it. But overall, I think they did great with the death, like the dead area. I think they did great with the overworld. They did great with the characters like Chuck. God, fuck, what's Lindia's mom's name? Oh my god, dude, I can't believe I'm forgetting that. Literally one of the most important a really important character. But she's another great actor in this movie. Couldn't tell you her name. I completely am going blank right now. I literally just remembered it. Just all the acting was S tier in this movie. That guy who Lydia tries to is talking to at the beginning of the movie in the trailers. In this movie is trying to marry. Well, I guess he's trying to marry her for like money and stuff. He's a funny character. He's very stupid, not really caring. Boy, is it funny, man! It is just truly something, and I don't know how to put it into words. He's a funny character though, pretty bad guy, but funny character. With another character like that, I completely forgot about, which is a bad thing. That's not good. Jenna Ortega in the middle of the movie, because obviously you can tell by the trailer there's a funeral, so instead of attending the funeral, she doesn't really care that much. She just goes into town, rides her bike and stuff, and she meets this boy, and this boy is like, oh hey, and then they started to talk and they started to fall in love, quote unquote, and then he turns out to be dead, and he brings her into the afterlife to take her soul and replace, and he does, but before he can leave, he's just instantly snapped away. He's just dropped into a hole dead. He's burned alive. And it's like, all right, that part obviously got us into the dead area, which is good. His character moved the story a little more, which I can't say Willem Dafoe's didn't. Well, wait. Well, Willem Dafoe's he kind of really didn't. The woman's obviously did. She obviously pushed the story forward. But the way the boy did it is he brought us to the dead area. Obviously, we would have gone there eventually anyways with Beetlejuice and stuff. That character, he just felt like a whole nothing burger. He was kind of just there and happening, which is good. There should be multiple reasons of why people are going into the area. There should be multiple points of like people leading together and stuff. I don't know. His character was just iffy. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the worst. He was just there and then he was instantly gone and then never, ever talked about after. Just not even an iota of a thought about him. It was just wiped from their memory. I think the overall flow of the flow of the movie is perfectly fine. It's great. This movie, you're gonna have fun watching it. So would I recommend you watching it? Absolutely. If you really enjoyed the first one, like I said, you're gonna enjoy this one. If you didn't enjoy the first one, there's a chance you still might enjoy this one. You obviously won't understand it as much, but it's so much fun. It's such a wacky movie. It's great fun. But yeah, so overall, I think this movie, if I had to give it on a scale of 1 to 100, I would give it a solid 79, 80. It's not up there, and also this is like based on other wacky movies and stuff. It's not up there with the first one. The first one's probably like a 90, honestly. Like that movie is fantastic. This movie is fantastic, but not to that level. It's never gonna. Oh, whoa, what the fuck? It's never gonna stoop past that level of the first one. It's always gonna be an underdog to it, but a really, really strong underdog. The story's great. The character's fantastic. Well, like to an extent, like I said about the other characters and stuff. But the main characters, the actor's fantastic. So if you're gonna have fun with this movie, yeah, I'd give it like an 80-ish% on the chopping block. I hope that you guys like this style of content. Obviously, I do a bunch of gaming stuff, and with this being my first episode of the chopping block a video of the chopping block, I plan on reviewing a bunch of other stuff when there's like new games, old games that I want to go back and play and stuff like that. It's just my opinions sometimes aren't always the strongest, and I lean towards it being good most of the time because I want something to be good so bad. But I'm going to try to get out of that phase and stop doing that. And then with gameplay, it's going to be a lot easier to show like, I'll just have gameplay footage in the back while I talk about it. So it's going to be a lot easier to actually talk about it and stuff. With this, I'm playing a movie trailer and over again. It's not the funnest thing to watch. I hope it's fun to listen to, but it's not the funnest thing to watch. But yeah, I'm really happy to be doing stuff like this. There's other stuff I want to do too. Like I might make a video. I was gonna release it tomorrow, but I think I might release this one tomorrow. I'm not sure. I might still record the other one, but the PS5 Pro situation is wild. I just wanted to state that there's gonna be some changes with my content. I'm always going to be mainly gaming, but I want to be able to talk about other stuff like that, like the Disney lawsuit that happened not that long ago. I found that out day one it happened, and I was like, whoa. And I should have made a video on it. It's such an interesting topic. And then with the PS5 Pro one, that's not that interesting. I'm just so pissed at Sony because of how bad they did. But I'm getting off topic now. I'm rambling. I might make a video about it. I'm not sure. I might just wait until the next breakout thing I learn about. But with this movie, I would definitely give it an 80. Go watch it if you really want to have a good time. I'm going to start doing more reviews. Like the BO6 beta, I'm going to do a review on just the beta. So take it with a grain of salt. Here soon, in a few days, I have a couple other Black Ops 6 videos releasing. But yeah, let me know if you want me to cover a topic, like a cool article or something. Article, bruh, you get what I mean. Like stuff like the Disney lawsuit that was happening. Obviously, I'm not going to cover that now. It's a little bit in the past. It's not in the past. I know it's not. It's still happening. But like, just give me ideas of stuff you want to talk about, or games I should play that I want to review, or like challenges in games that I should do. Just video ideas. Just let me know you want to see. And I really hope you enjoyed my first review, or I guess my first video of the chopping block. And I'd go watch Beetlejuice. Well, Beetlejuice. Sorry. It's a lot of fun. And without further ado, I think this is a good way to end it. And yeah, have a good rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Have a good day.